Hi, hey, hello, and welcome to Power Word Play, a Dungeons & Dragons live stream with a bunch of lovely players around this table. We've just wrapped up a little mini-series that our good friend Darryll put on for us, giving Josie a little bit of time away from the DM chair. And we want to just kind of, tie a little bow on it and talk about what happened and our characters, anything we didn't get to do, or things that we did enjoy, and kind of wrap up essentially for our little mini series, Peace on the Razor's Edge.
Some closure from that ending. Maybe.
I warned y'all.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So we'll start with that one. That came at the last literal 5 minutes. As soon as Madam died, being a selfish DM as I can be, I went, nah.
She's not going to really die.
I didn't like this. So I told everyone, you had to go away for a minute there, and I told everybody to leave the table.
Yeah, and I haven't actually watched that.
Oh, no, not yet.
So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I told everybody to leave the table. And then, I don't want to spoil it for you then, so.
Shit, just...
Okay.
If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, come on.
It's over.
Tough shit. I just asked I'm like, do you want to die? No, not really. I'm like, okay, but then you got to roll with me. And I said, you're not dead, but you're gonna go away.
Right.
So, and then that was the whole thing. I'm like, you were the closest, and and I asked her, I'm like, how close were you to switching teams? How were you gonna walk? Where are you gonna go? And she's kind of like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
And I love leaving things open ended. You know me, like.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like finality.
Because who knows? Maybe we'll do some more in that world someday.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was a really cool setting that you thought up. And I think everybody kind of brought their A game for character creation.
Yeah,
the
characters
I love
all
it.
great.
I love
Everyone's characters. Like for a little 5-session game, it's
I
like I felt like I was
all of
joining something that was like, oh, this has been like 100 sessions long. You know? Yeah.
I loved all of them. Right down, like, just even like the little nuances that we didn't even touch on that you guys talked to me about. I'm like, wow, like, you want to talk about a group of people who really cares. Like, they want to involve the absolute most they can. And like, from yours with like the homunculus and yours with the armor, like, I wish I could have pushed harder to set that off.
Yeah.
So
I want to know more about that too, because that was a thing that kept getting alluded to, but we didn't quite get revealed.
Yeah. I mean, I can speak a little bit to that.
Sure.
Yeah, she had from her father a piece of armor, which essentially it was kind of like a pacemaker, because her heart essentially beats irregularly all the time, so she's constantly out of breath. It causes like issues with her cardiovascular system. So without that basically pumping her up, she would be much weaker. And the mechanical side to that was it's an amulet of health that I reflavored.
Sure, yeah.
Which would have been a con 19, without that, con was my dump stat.
Yep.
And it was like 8.
Right.
Right?
It was significant enough that it was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
You like, I went, are you sure? Yep.
And so the idea with that was like the more damage I took, the more, potentially
it got under strain or whatever.
Yeah, got restrained or took a nick here and there, from me trying to keep alive essentially. So once it would have gotten to 0 charges, it would have broken and I would have just kind of started bleeding.
Right. Okay. And would you have actually like taken it off then to simulate the going down to 8 Constitution again too?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And it would be something where I was like, I'm not sure if this is something I could even fix. I don't think so. So it would be like maybe in like the last fight, kind of like, or leading up to it, something bad might happen.
Yeah. Maybe the character is broken.
Yeah, essentially. Like yeah,
in a bad way.
yeah, not like the usual.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. And that explains all of the coughing stuff you were doing too.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
the ever-smoking diesel machine over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was picking up initially.
Yeah.
A bit more thought into that, I guess.
Just clouds.
It's one of those things where it's like it would have came up multiple times,
Yeah.
and like one time it would be like, "Oh, that's funny" as a joke, and
Yeah.
like a second time, like, "Okay, like,
Where, yeah.
yeah."
Yeah, something's
Yeah.
actually
Yeah,
happening.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. I had a lot of fun with that aspect of Herman. Also,
Oh yeah.
the reflavoring every magical ability into something physical and mechanical and
The message is,
industrial.
can I do this? Yep. Can I? Lauren, the answer is yes. Okay. I trust you enough. Just roll on me.
Just giving you a
I know.
heads up, making sure you're in the know.
But that's for me. Like DMing, like I like not knowing everything you guys do because I like being surprised as well. Because then it gives me a challenge to like, okay, let's roll with
How do I
this.
roll with that?
Yeah.
Come out to that spot.
You know. The infamous kobolds. I will always refer back to that. And here, no shit. So.
Yep. Yeah, well, and similar to the 8 con, I also rolled some 8s when I
Really?
was rolling Herman's stats, and so that's why I rolled 2 8s actually.
Cool.
And so I put 1 into wisdom, and then 1 into strength, and then that was why I took the. What was it? The Fire Giant's belt. Very rare
Oh,
item.
okay.
So essentially, same idea as you
Yeah.
what you did with
Yeah,
con,
Yeah.
but me with strength. And so, because with us allowed to take a very rare, I didn't really have a lot of magical items that I was super keen on. So
Yeah.
I figured it would be just like fun flavoring to say that this robot got some kind of like crazy mechanical upgrade to make it really strong,
Yeah.
and that was the pistons on his arm and whatnot, and so
I love the Happiness Company. I absolutely love.
No, I want to see more of that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, like,
it was very
Lord.
fun thinking
Like, just-
of all of the little like quotes that I would throw in at the start of his like attack round or whatever.
Well, every time you like look at your book and you like go through your list, like, oh my gosh, yeah. Which description for this spell and all
D100.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that the idea of almost like, I don't know, Fallout-esque kind of with Vault-Tec and Nuka-Cola and all that, just like these corporations that put on this like happy shiny face, but they're like super sinister, really. Kind of was going for that angle. And I was really happy with how it came out.
No, it was really
It's
good.
just kind of like, it wasn't like central to the story in any way, but it was just kind of like a neat little quirk of the character. And yeah, had fun with it, just throwing out little one-liners and stuff. So
And you managed to keep up tradition and screw me again in another fight.
yeah, the first combat where I just cast one spell and ended.
Yeah, done.
Yeah,
becoming a thing now, Lauren.
that's true. That happened before too.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing about Magic and D&D too, though, is like if you pick the right spell at the right time, like
Does
one
amazing things.
spell slot can just like change the face of combat. So yeah.
Yeah, case in point.
Yeah. So, didn't have, being only an artificer, didn't have tons of spell slots. And really, if I was like, a wizard or something, that would give me more spell levels too. Like, because that was only a 3rd level spell. And we could have had, if I was, say, a full wizard, that would have had like 5th level spells, I believe. So, there's even crazier stuff.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, just so happened that in that one particular instance, that spell fit the bill.
Nerfed a whole room of people that were going to fight you.
Were you expecting that to be like a good hour or so of our time?
Well, it was going to put stress on you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And all of you, because like this whole concept, like I really wanted to test loyalties between all of you. That's why you were given factions.
Yeah.
Who would side with who would do what. I was always, even the fight down in the hallway, that's why they split sides.
Right. Yeah.
With Andrews and Young.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for that too, because I was just like, I couldn't think of names, and I'm like, you know what? You know who they are.
Yeah,
I
You're-
sure
you're-
do. I sure do.
Yeah.
That's Andrews and that's
So,
Nice.
you know, your removing of Horn whenever you fought was just like this visceral, like,
I love the imagery.
I could see like purple
Yeah.
goo coming with it as like just
Yeah,
oh.
maybe there was. Maybe there was. Yeah. Well, I had like the idea for my character. I really like the idea of like the mixing of like tech and magic.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the first place my mind went with that was Five Nights at Freddy's.
I loved it though. Like it was. I love how you played it off as like the creepy Chuck E. Cheese type thing.
Yeah, exactly. It was gonna be a lot more overt, or a lot more like, this is just Freddy Fazbear. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's maybe make this a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
You know, I respect you for that because while that would have been funny, I don't know if this would have been the right table for those
No.
jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like that even goes over my head, you know.
Yeah. I was like, this is funny, but
It's really dirty. I'm not super familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's. I know kind of.
oh,
like the
and
gist
it's just
of
like a
it.
horror kind of game.
Yeah.
Think
It has a lot of deep lore for no reason. Like
Yeah.
yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
do you know the bite of 87?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was
I know.
there. You know.
I know.
You know. Yeah. Apparently I know more than I thought I did.
Pulling out the deep lore.
Access something
Yeah.
back in there.
But no, that was just like, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, okay, let's like flesh this out a little bit more. Let's make this actually a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So I was trying to run through like different, what would be like a like reasonable build for like a robot that would be friendly to kids, but then someone would be like, this is desirable to be like remodeled and repurposed for some like ulterior motives.
Right.
So landed on this is like, oh, just like a big round beetle, like just like a really friendly goofy guy, but like major hornage coming out from, like, yeah, that was a weird way to put it, but
Major hornage.
major
This is a
hornage.
safe place. It's okay.
It is.
But like, and then I landed on
Just
that idea
wait.
of like, oh, like I was looking for weapons because I wanted to do Hexblade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, a glaive. That's pretty cool. So that was just kind of like, that was the line.
Where it was.
Yeah.
And like, I hope you guys don't mind. Like, I kind of took some liberties too, especially at the end there, where I'm like, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. Where here it is.
Oh,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
were, no, you weren't. You, no, you weren't. You, no,
Yeah.
you weren't. Yours
Yeah.
was. I didn't want to tweak with it too much because I really liked the imagery of it.
Sure, yeah.
Like-
but even like the learning that I was like a guardian for
Yeah.
Jean-Michel in her childhood or whatever.
Yeah, you were made
Like
by her.
that,
Yeah.
that for sure threw me for a loop.
Well, and it's I like to. It's too bad it came at the end, but I like to give you guys things to play with too, where you're like, ooh, okay, where can I roll with this? You know, so
Yeah.
No, exactly. That was so much fun with too. It's like, oh, I didn't even think about this route.
yeah, like it's again like this wasn't, and I've told you guys before, like there wasn't a clear defined end. Like I had it where shit, you guys could side with him, and yeah, you kick it off, and now you guys go start hunting down corrupt individuals in both sides of the government and trying to root it all out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that was an interesting twist for sure, because I was like trying to figure out what's the best thing for us to do in this situation, because and what I landed on was in the end what Herman kind of said was that like, you know, you still have killed people, and so I guess you're also not innocent, so I can't join your side. And like, I don't know, that was where his like robot logic landed him, and so yeah, I guess, you know, we certainly could have sided with him because it was also not good. He for sure had a point,
Yeah,
because if
yeah,
they were
totally.
making this war for their own profit and whatnot, then like for sure that's not a good thing.
Yeah, like you find out in the end you're not saving the good guy.
Right. Yeah.
You're saving the bad guy, but you're saving the bad guy to stop a worse guy.
Another bad guy.
Yeah.
Like
it's all
it's
kinda like a little
yeah,
gray.
it's
Yeah.
you know, I like playing with things like that. Just
Yeah.
here's your thing. Your unwinnable thing to try and win.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
You know,
Oh,
it's when we ran the other one where it was like, no, you guys are going to fail.
Yeah. At the end.
You are going to fail.
Yeah.
Get this through your head. So
What went through your character's head with that final fight and that consideration?
Well, I was trying to like separate what was going through my head and then what's going through Bugsy's head. I had my I had my
always
ideas of it,
happening
and then I was
too,
like,
yeah.
okay, but what would she be thinking? Yeah, and it just kind of landed on like same kind of idea of like, because I think for me personally, I was definitely leaning towards like, no, I see like where you're coming from, honestly, and.
what?
No, I was really close actually to being like.
Yeah. Well.
I was thinking about
Got
like.
one.
And honestly, like there was the real possibility that we could split the group in that moment too.
And
Yeah,
I thought like maybe you just end up fighting each other.
Yeah.
that would have been cool.
Because I would have let it go. Like somebody takes a swing. Okay, guess what, guys? I'm
Yeah,
This is happening.
I'm out of it. It's
Here we go.
Battle Royale.
Here we go.
Yeah, but
choose your side. Draw your line in the sand.
yeah,
So
no, but like once I kind of separated like okay, this is where my thoughts are, and then this is probably where Bugsy would actually be at. Then I was like, no, like he's not gonna actually be on this guy's side. Like this is going to stick in his mind forever, but he's not gonna join his side.
Yeah.
I was really curious what everyone else was thinking too, though. Like,
I mean, yeah, it was. If I hadn't written one paragraph in my backstory, I probably could have been a bit more swayed. But I had it written that like through, JM's adventurers in the war, they'd noticed or seen like a lot of indiscriminate magic that had caused death and decay and rot and people to not be people anymore, but still suffering around as husks, right? So for her, it was like the issue was the indiscriminate part, right? Because if he was just happy to set up some keg barrels below this place and whatever, like where does the line get drawn? And her whole life, she's been asking the question of where the line gets drawn.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for her, at that moment, it was like, I cannot
yeah,
justify that again.
Yeah, like it's almost as if like if the murderer here was instead like specifically targeting just those leaders rather than like an entire congregation of people or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe then
Yeah.
you would have been on it.
Absolutely, because like that was her thing. Like she was a targeted person. It was never about the buildings. It was maybe about checking them out to see which person is in them and when they come out of them, so we can take them out. But she was never a fan of the destruction of wholesale, society. Right.
Yeah.
But
Got all of us thinking a little bit like.
I love doing stuff like that. And then like again, it's what I love to do. Give you like on one hand like a huge episodic. Here's a deep story, and then now it's like not so deep, but I'm gonna make you think. I'm gonna make you, I'm gonna push some buttons here, and I wanted to go further, and I wish we had more time for certain things, but I just ended up removing it because I'm like, this ends up going way down a dark hallway that I really don't want to go down.
Right.
Because then it's like
good call.
Like,
like
dark.
Yes, sir.
See the door.
As in like that was a long ways potentially that it could continue, or that
Both.
you didn't want to cover that topic, or
some of the topic was covering like there was some like I drew inspiration for me. It was like Jack the Ripper, Seven, things along those lines where it's like it was these murders were being committed as punishment, as vindication, as the low man, somebody assuming the role of the voice and the protectorate of the average person who is getting fucked over. That probably didn't need to be doing that, but they took it on themselves and kind of had that mental break to.
Right.
They just nope. I'm gonna watch the world burn now. You burn my world, I'm gonna burn your world. So, yeah, Wow, that's a dark reflection about me, I guess. That's just me, though. I make dark characters. I make dark situations.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I need like Prozac.
Been there,
I was gonna say, there's a lot of self-discovery going on here, folks.
Look back in 5 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. God.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like that when you're a DM. And you're, at one hand you're like, oh, imagination can go free.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like figuring out what areas to reel back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why did my imagination go there?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, wait.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have. No.
Like some of the scenes are going to be a lot more visceral in description, but I'm like, I'm not just trying to go for the gore factor.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get it across like it
Yeah,
wasn't.
well, I thought
Oh, there's a
still
dead body,
pretty-
but like no, but like there was some. Yeah,
It was good enough.
Yeah.
Very good.
It felt purposeful though.
yeah, and I wanted to have like I love using props. It's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
My son yelled at me because I took the chess pieces. He wanted to play, and I'm like, oh,
Whoops.
not gonna happen, homie. Yeah. So yeah, he yelled at me over that. It's not good. I'm like, we can use checkers. It's only one piece each missing. I know what it is.
No, but it's
Yeah. Nope. Wasn't.
Nope.
I took his Harry
Not
Potter
good.
chess set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Especially offensive.
wow.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Value Village, $6. Can't go wrong.
Fair enough.
So.
good find.
Yeah, see? Thank you. Like I love doing things like that. And like I saw the blacklight pens on sale,
Oh, for sure.
and that
Can't
like
mess that up.
yeah, it was just one of those like
Cool.
I've always wanted to be like, how do you make spells real?
Mm-hmm.
So detect magic. Oh, well, hey, hold on.
Cool.
Here you go. You can.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I didn't lose one of them. Like,
It's got to be around here somewhere.
No, the pen. It was I lost one of the letters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, word.
Okay.
So. Okay, and then I couldn't find the legend that I had saved for which your last letter you got. So I'm like, psst, Janelle.
Yeah, right.
It's either this or this, so you get both of them.
Yeah.
And then quick, how do I spin this stupid box? Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, here you go.
Yeah.
I didn't think you guys would have that much indecision about the letters.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been like, boom, it's home.
Yeah.
Like,
I could not imagine the puzzle in my head. Just for some reason, I just could not get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's dials and it's on every corner, but every corner has a letter, and I'm like, I don't fucking understand.
Oh, damn. I felt pretty immediate. Like, okay, it's home.
Yeah. I
played it
you
up.
guys
played it
could.
up a little.
I did like
yeah,
whore, though.
yeah, and, like trying to be like.
Whore.
what are you doing?
I was like,
yeah, whore.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't I think of that?
I did think that like in some form more could have made sense in
Yeah.
some way.
That
but
was the only.
With some more
other one.
clues
Like,
per chance.
maybe
Yeah.
with some specific clues, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But anyway, but for sure, I mostly that was like thematic.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to.
I think what I was starting to get curious about is if you had like a different idea if we did different words.
Oh yeah,
That's what was kind of
you had one shot.
Oh,
If not-
So-
yeah. Well, more like
Since it's go ahead, sorry, finish.
Oh, I was thinking more like if we do home and that takes us to one place. If we do more, that takes us to
Oh
another place.
no, I didn't even think
That's
of that.
kind of
That's
what
cool.
I was thinking.
Yeah,
Instead of just
no.
you get the wrong word, you die. Which
Rock
is also
fall.
understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. So since the puzzle is now complete,
Yeah,
what would have happened if we got it wrong per se?
bag of holding,
We die.
Oh.
Yeah.
big bada boom.
Big bada boom.
Yeah. It wouldn't have exploded. You would all been pulled to the astral plane.
Which is different from death. How?
You get to float around for a few minutes,
Okay.
Think about the consequences.
Yeah.
Of yeah.
Sing a
yell at
little-
each other briefly before.
sing a little kumbaya.
Actually, you two would have been fine.
That's true.
You don't
To
need to breathe.
float endlessly in the
Yeah.
astral plane.
You would have just
Yeah.
For
drifted
Yeah.
till like some
That's
get
for
Yankee picked you
forever.
up.
Best friends.
If that happened, I might have actually had something that would have helped everybody anyway.
Oh.
Oh. What would that have been?
I had underwater breathing.
Oh shit! So you
And
could have.
I had this like flavoring planned out where a door opens up and a bunch of like scuba gear masks pop out basically, and so everybody would have been able to breathe still.
Just attached to Herman floating through the air with like
Yeah.
the airplane masks on. Please help yourself before helping others.
I don't know if that's worse than getting blown up right
Just prolonged.
now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Janelle prepped for that like river that you alluded to.
Oh yeah.
By getting her boat or whatever that she never got to use. I was like, there's gonna be some water at some point. I'm gonna take water breathing, and then I can
You guys never really went there. You
No.
had, like it was a whole thing. If you tried to leave, or if you tried to warn them ahead of time, like if you went closer to the Septorum, that's right around where the river went, and you would have had to deal with that. Or even if you were, who knows, like if you had managed to pick up on him at the bar, I was
Yeah.
fully ready for you guys to have that conversation outside of the tavern.
Yeah.
And then him going, it would have been way more persuasive in the way of like, hey, look, yes, I'm who you're looking for. This is why I'm doing it. Meet me here, I'll show you why. And then he would have just laid it all out of, this is what's happened. He wouldn't have been as, the character change.
Yeah,
He wouldn't have
yeah,
been
it
as
would have
like
been
creepy. It would have been
Yeah.
like, you
a
know,
reasonable person.
yeah, like he would have been begging for your aid and then trying to pull on those strings. So, like I said, I kept everything, tried to keep everything very fluid. With, I wanted to the story to be molded on how you guys reacted to things,
Right.
and like hats off to Kenny and Amy again for like
Wow.
the ability to take a bad
Those
situation
Martians.
and make it that much worse, and then just tweedly-dee walk away. So,
That made for some very memorable
oh my god,
moments.
I can't fireball.
like
Yeah.
I don't care what you said, I cast fireball.
Can't help
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Like,
Don't you touch him, I cast fireball.
again, one of those. No, this situation will go okay. It'll be a little scuff. Okay, here we go.
That's something that having DM'd a single night of D&D in my life. That's something that I super admire about DMs, such as you guys, which when there are real options available to players, because when we're playing ourselves, it feels to me like we're just on the only path
Yeah.
available to us, you know. Nothing else makes sense to me, but very clearly you guys see possibilities, or you have to be prepared for possibilities that obviously, like, I can't even imagine, but other people might imagine. And so, you know, when I ran my single one shot, like, we're just on a rail. We're just going to do exactly what I say. and we're in a combat now. And that worked for a night.
The one shot formula.
But, yeah.
Yes.
It's pretty good. It works for a reason.
It works,
Yeah.
it works for a reason.
But so, like,
Sometimes that's needed, though.
yeah.
Like, you have to sometimes have that guided push. Like, no, who cares about that bush?
Yeah.
You're going here.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that amazes me about, you know, legitimate DMing, the ability or the necessity to prepare for many possible scenarios. Because yeah, that's like a whole other level of DMing. So kudos.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lauren.
No, I really, just being in that situation, like, I told him many a times over dinner and stuff, like, it's, you know, I have a sense of pride, because I remember when he first started, Ken came to me and said, oh, you know, I want to think about DMing. I'm like, First up, fucking right, I'm not
Finally.
someone else. But it was just like
And I wrote something kind of ass, but it was an arena fight.
Yeah.
And I tried to throw in some ties for you. Even I was like, oh, I'm being so smart. I was not being that smart.
That was his first DM learning what a level. What were we? 12, 10?
Oh
forget.
no! Everyone was level 4, but you were playing a level 7 or 6
Yeah.
paladin with them.
And he learned, oh shit, don't let the paladin crit with smite. Because it was like 78 damage in one round, and it's just, oh, yeah, welcome to my chair, buddy.
There's that combat.
I wasn't even that
No.
shocked by it because I had planned for them to all fight your shadow, which was
Oh,
like
yeah.
the level 6 paladin. Literally, I was
Yeah.
just gonna break up the sheet, and I was like,
Right,
gonna copy
yeah.
it. I was like, we're gonna do this
We're fighting
Yeah.
Darryl's character.
as he plays the
Darryl's
character.
He was that's one that like I've like I don't like doubling up characters in campaigns. Like I like having that diverse thing, but man, there's something that itches me to pull him back out again.
Paladin, yeah.
Paladins are pretty sweet.
Just to give Rhaenyra that oh really.
I don't know. Rhaenyra is the oh really in this group. I think
Yeah, but
she doesn't like
no.
push it,
No.
but she is like very like solid when she needs to be.
Yeah. Oh,
Kitty.
the mascot.
Yeah.
Sorry, key break.
Yeah. Must looking cat.
No, yeah, like it's I really, and again I do these things for you guys. I want you guys to have fun, and like I want to give not just you wake up in a tavern, like
Yeah.
as much as sometimes that's what it needs to be. Like I also find like sometimes you can skip that, and where I just said like, oh, you guys, here it is, like you two got summoned, you got summoned, you got summoned, like here it is, you show up at this location and here's your letter.
Yeah.
Here's your thing. You walk into a body flayed out in the corner, like a winged eagle, kind of a, like, it was that. Okay, let's just roll with this and see where they go.
Yeah.
It's a know your group thing, right?
Yeah.
Like with newer players or maybe a new table, you may want to
Yeah,
kind of have that opportunity
Yeah.
to kind of have them have the space where it's like you do meet in a tavern
Yeah.
because this is kind of a social place,
Yep.
and all of your characters know one person there.
yeah.
So if you don't feel comfortable talking with the person beside the table, you can talk to me. And then I can be like, have you met my friend Gilbob here?
Well, and I really appreciated how you started the Sins campaign. Like how we were broken
Yeah.
apart. Like
Yeah.
for, I don't know, like we started. It was 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a group of 3 of us.
Yeah.
It was me, Lauren, and Janelle in one, and then the other one was Anna, David, and Kenny, and then we came together after that. So
I do like the split up kind of.
it
like,
was
you get like your friends to start almost.
for a hot minute too. It was very much like there was the 3 of us and the 3 of them,
Yeah.
and it took a minute to
Yeah. To
Kind of
everybody
intermingle.
else after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
so.
What makes for like interesting character kind of dichotomies. I think it makes it easier for like you as a player to sort of like role play too, because you're trying to talk to everyone.
Mhm.
That's a lot all of a sudden.
Right,
You're like, how do
yeah,
I talk
very true.
to your character? How do I talk to you?
Mm-hmm.
So
How do-
having
how
kind of
do I-
similar.
How do I get space at the table too? when
That
there's
too.
6 people.
Yeah, everyone wants to talk.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
trying to get yourself in there too.
Table manners, right? Like
Table manners, yeah.
That's one thing I think we do really well too, where we're able to have moments with each other and with you. Like there's very much that we give the time, we let it run out, and I was like super appreciative about it especially with a lot of the Eon stuff between Eon and Ramsey. Like it was
all the way back then, yeah.
like there was a lot of conversations, and then but even still like no, I'm noticing now like between like Sola and Rhaenyra. So
Yeah. And I like that because
Yeah.
there's still we've done obviously tons of RPing at our table, but there's still a lot more connections available that haven't even been made yet too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking
That's
of new connections.
The tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We do, I guess, have like a little bit of an announcement.
Yeah.
A fun little thing. Kind of, sort of, maybe. In that Kenzie is joining our game for regulars.
Yay!
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, this little mini-series has been really fun. You've now played with me as a GM and Darryll as a DM.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Gonna collect them all. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, no, I'm pumped. I think it's always super fun when somebody new joins too, because there's like a new dynamic
Yeah.
essentially introduced.
Well,
So
you left such a mark last time.
yeah.
Like it was last time you played with us. Like, to be honest, like that night driving home, I said to Josie, would they be interested in playing with us?
Hell yeah.
Like it was just
Yeah.
that whole like, man, like just like Lauren and I talked about it quite a bit after when
Yeah.
you pulled the rug, and it was I was just like,
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I did the same thing when I was driving home after like that last session. Like, wow, I'm gonna miss this.
yeah,
Maybe not that in particular. Oh, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit of that in particular. But like just like the overall like this table, this
Yeah,
group,
big
I was like,
part.
damn, I'm gonna miss this. You know, like, and I had like my own group at the time and stuff. But like this is, I think this is just at like such a different level than I've played at before. That it's like, because I mean all the campaigns I've been in so far. I was in one that lasted 2 years.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool.
But even after 2 years, it still had the same like fizzle out and die,
yeah.
which, you know,
Damn.
you see that with like the 3-month campaigns and stuff, like the shorter ones, and then seeing it at that 2 years as well is just kind of like, damn, you know, like
Mhm.
it just kind
that's
of
right.
goes. So just like kind of, I don't know, like the level of like enthusiasm that everyone has at the table and like commitment, and everyone is just like so like here
Mhm.
for everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to latch on to it.
Well,
I'm in.
you're about to,
Yeah,
so
for sure. No, it's the best part of our week. I know for like
Mhm.
Janelle and I,
Same. Yeah.
like we wait for the night we record and play and stuff. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
And it's super valuable. We're super thankful, super lucky. So anyway, yeah, it's fun to get to share that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, like absolutely the first time I was here for that first session, it's like, wow. I am like starstruck.
I really wish we were recording back then though. Like there's so much that I look back on now that I'm like, oh man, that would have been so just like stellar moment, like epicness. Here we go. You know, like, but still, I also like the fact that that's just ours.
Yeah, true.
You know, that's just for us.
Little private memories,
Mhm.
basically.
You can play with
But-
mittens. But
Yeah.
this mini-series, I'm glad we have fully
Yeah.
recorded.
Yes.
And out there, but yeah, it was a very just kind of like fun to step into the player role a little bit and play something a little
No
different.
doubt, no doubt,
Well-
and you deserve that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I want to give you that. Like I like giving you that opportunity, just because I know what forever DMing could end up being like, and you just kind of you need that mind pace change where you can kind of just not turn it off, but like, okay, I don't need to focus on all of this. I can focus on this
Mhm.
Yeah,
and just
totally.
do this.
Yep.
So that's what I've been loving, honestly. Because God knows you and I have been in enough failed campaigns over the years.
You know, I think we don't actually have that bad of a record.
3, 4?
Yeah.
3 or 4? Yeah.
We did finish the first one,
Yeah, well, yeah, that was
even though it was kind of like
rushed.
rushed. And then, there was 2 or 3 more after that, so...
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, and like one of them was like online COVID, so I don't even count
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
you just...
That's
yeah,
not fair.
No.
No,
It was dead from the start.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And COVID kind of killed that one.
No.
So...
Yeah. What did you guys like the most about this little mini-series? Was it either character, story,
Boy.
kind of the table energy?
I think the characters for sure.
Mm.
Just like the PCs that everyone brought to the table. Like I like Amy's idea with the potions and everything. As soon as she
Yeah,
pulled those
that's awesome.
out, I was like, wow, I need to have one of those immediately. I don't care what's in it. But just like the thought that everyone put into it, I was like, wow. Yeah.
Totally. I think that it was the fact that we had this like cool new setting and that you gave to everybody, and that everybody like really embraced and made things that fit into it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like Daryl's running a new campaign and I'm gonna build a Hexblade Warlock. And that's what I am. I am a Hexblade. No, but that's what I'm saying is you were more than the Hexblade. You were this like crazy Bugsy Beetle thing.
Yeah.
And there was a whole character behind just the Hexblade. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I'm not just calling you out for being a Hexblade because Hexblade is awesome. But yeah, no, it was everybody was more than just their class. You know, everybody had real investment, and it brought like a life to this really cool setting, and yeah, it was a great combination, I think.
What about you?
I mean, I think character-wise, I really did like the PCs, but also the NPCs were pretty freaking awesome.
There were some very
Yes.
Yeah, like that one, hotel concierge we messed with a little bit.
Yes.
Obviously Andrew and Young,
Yeah.
which was funny as hell to kind of walk into. The whole thing with Scree at the palace or Madame's place.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Gotta have a tie-in somehow. Come on now.
Yeah, it was. I think that part was really fun. It was just like everything felt fleshed out, and that's really fun to play in.
That's awesome because
Like a world.
Yeah.
not much of it was.
Good at winging it.
I'll admit, I put
Yeah.
bones and then I build off the meat you guys supply because it's just easier for me to roll with your story because that's how I've always thought of D&D. It's not the DM's story; it's your story. I'm just here to guide you. So that's kind of how I look at it. But what was one thing that you guys? What's one question you guys have left over from it that you want to ask?
Question.
Well, I guess my question, one of the questions I had about the ending was, is the war going to continue? Because we didn't specifically say, like, we kind of alluded to the fact, like, well, we have this letter as proof now, so we could
Do something.
do something about it. But we didn't really do that in our epilogue.
No.
So, I guess,
I didn't think about that.
assuming then, let's say that still could be yet to be decided, is the war continuing?
As far as you know, the peace accord was signed, but as it was alluded to, S is alive and now is not alone. So, whether the war or the peace holds, who knows?
Right, okay. So even though what you're saying is that even though the letter we found where it's like, the two sides, Arcanos and Bragg we are at war because it's good for our industry, good for our magic development. They have potentially found a peace.
They found a peace now, where it's become shall we say, cost effective for them.
Okay.
You are fighting to a point of
That makes
it is like people are questioning why are we no one's gaining ground, no one's losing ground, no one's advancing.
Yeah, right.
And nothing's really moving past that point. It's just now we're fighting for the sake of fighting.
Right.
So a lot of it was starting to turn and people were asking questions. So that's why, the idea of, well, let's give peace a chance here.
Right. Let's have a real peace for a while.
Until they could come up with something.
Yeah.
To ignite it again.
Yep. Gotcha. That's
So
right.
there's a whole lot of other, I went over one day, he cornered me and asked me a bunch of the lore for it, and it stretches back to it all started from, it was one nation. The king and queen had twin boys. One was magically inclined, the other one was not, but he was more intelligent, better with his hands, started making little contraptions and stuff, and they ended up just never being able to agree, and they split apart. And this is centuries ago. It comes down to after they had both died off through the bloodline. The queen was his great granddaughter, but she's also found Bragg has slowly been able to find ways to extend life through means of mechanical, where she looks like she's 16.
Right. Okay.
And has not aged a day, but is, close to 100 years old. Whereas the Arcanists, they've just gone through a system of like promoting, through, you're the most powerful kind of magic user, or the best shit talker, to we're gonna back you. So that's how their Grand Vizier kind of came to be, and it'd be passed on through that. And then they just always ended up. They were fighting for so long, but then they realized, hey, wait a second, Bragg was able to get away with testing all their new technology on a disposable enemy force, really. And then it was the same with, though, okay, we can practice our magic and hone our magics and make our better and expand and try and change the weave of magic on your people. And it would just be accepted because you were at war for so long.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, is there a possibility the war happens again? Hell yeah. Nothing is stable.
Yeah, sure. Gotcha.
So.
Peace for now.
Depending on how things go, JM might not be helping with that either.
And that's what I love too.
There's just like random rifle shots.
You went off, yeah. Like
Hexen.
There's a sheet of paper with
Politicians keep dying.
Yeah, lines getting crossed off. So, any other questions?
I was pretty curious on how you came up with the name for this little mini series.
That kind of shit just rolls in my head.
That just came out. Yeah, you're like, this sounds good.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, they're trying to keep peace, but this all hangs on, a razor's edge. Where it's like he was so precise with cuts and everything, and made it like it was surgical. It was razor done, like it was so fine. And I like playing with that kind of like where it's a piece is hovering on this, because if this is what can end it, it's as simple as a teeter one way or teeter the other. That grain of rice that tips the scale.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. You? You.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have any questions. It was pretty...
The passive perception of the old lady was 27.
Why?
fucking
Yes,
insane.
okay, why?
Yeah, what's her
Think
backstory?
What's up with that?
Yeah.
She is your on the spot. I've got to make something just to put the pressure on you guys, but also she is that nosy neighbor that sits out on her fire escape balcony with her TV, watching her stories, tells everybody to be quiet, but is in everybody's business.
She has the observant feet. It wasn't even a passive perception.
Yeah.
She was actively rolling every 6 seconds.
Her dump stats were strength, charisma, and constitution. Everything went into wisdom, okay?
Oh, man.
That was just a fun scene.
Yeah, but I like playing on things like that, where it's like, you should crush this, but I'm gonna make it awkward as hell for you.
Somehow, yeah.
It's just that.
And I mean, even if it was fudge, like, it was super funny. So it was worth doing.
Yeah, sometimes you need a story beat. So
yeah, absolutely.
like
Just this random crystal ancient dragon is hanging out in the city of Hexen.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, watching your soaps.
Whatevs.
Yeah.
watching her stories,
Nothing better to do.
using scry on somebody, just snooping in on a life.
I mean, what else do you have to do?
At that age, huh?
Yeah.
Come on now. I do have to be like, I am overly critical of myself with stuff too, but like I love the fact that nobody really hit it on first when like that whole French accent completely flipped into Italian. And I'm like, cool, maybe nobody noticed, and then I don't know who said it, they're like, yeah, so it was weird how he went from French to Italian in like 3 seconds, and I'm like, well, apparently they noticed, yeah.
I found there's some interesting ones. There's the French to Italian switch. And then there's the Cockney to Australian switch that I've done a few times, unfortunately. Accents are hard, y'all.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
Well, when they're so close, and they are like it's very much.
There's similarities linguistically between.
Yeah, like they all roll around in that.
linguistics.
Yeah, if only. That's my wife. Janelle has a whole degree in linguistics.
Literally.
Yeah.
But yet her Scottish accent took so long.
Don't make fun of her Scottish.
No, I'm not. It was
She's
funny.
very proud of her.
She got really good at the end. It was just the first couple of times where we're just like,
No comment.
yeah.
That was great. You did great.
I thought it was awesome.
Great.
I like how the family members are all like,
Yeah. Do not cross, Janelle.
Power in that name. Alright.
yeah.
Beauty.
Anything else?
Was there anything about your characters that you didn't get to do? I wish we could ask everybody.
Yeah.
Now everybody's here.
Yeah.
Or did you kind of just get to cover everything?
I think there's a lot of backstory that I had. I think I was kind of coming up with stuff as we were like still playing. I didn't have everything like fully fleshed out yet. So then like as we're going through, I was like, okay, now I think I've kind of hit like the groove that I want it to be. And it was, I guess we did kind of
Yeah, I tried to
hit on it a
it's
little
hard.
bit at the very end, but like what I kind of was imagining for like Bugsy's backstory and like how he went from like famed child entertainer to like whatever the hell he's doing now. I was imagining very much like he was part of like this band of like similar Warforged like entertainers, so there would have been like other various cutesy creatures.
An alligator and a chicken.
Yeah, like, that's literally
There's
it
a
though.
whole barnyard.
No, that's, I was imagining like, you know, there's like a cow, there's like a pig, like an alligator, like that kind of stuff. Maybe going from more southern kind of. Yeah. So I was like imagining very much literally like Chuck E. Cheese. Like you bring your like friends and your family, you go to your birthday party.
Ye old cheese.
Ye old cheese.
Steam powered cheese.
Hey, it would have been a possibility.
It would have been. Yeah. But like the catalyst that like kind of ended that all for Bugsy and like started like the new sort of, I guess, chapter of his life is there was a children's birthday party that he was performing at. And I think, what I had landed on was like, there was a kid at the birthday party who was just like so excited to see all of the animatronics, all of the robots, and like got up onto the stage. Yeah. And one of the animatronics malfunctioned.
The Bite of 87! That's what that is.
So
Yeah.
good.
A kid gets bitten. Eaten.
I won't go into it too much
Crunch.
for copyright reasons.
Right.
It's okay. We've
But
already been sued like 8 times. It's all good.
Distinctly different.
Distinctly different. This was a cow, not a bear.
Cretaceous playground.
Oh no!
Exactly.
But like that's like very much the thing that shuts down the band and is like, I don't want to bring my kids here anymore. So they all of the Warforged get scrapped. They all get tossed into the scrapyard.
Yep.
And then the ghosts of the animatronics haunts the graveyard!
Listen, I had to put some of the origin in there. So when I took my
Sorry.
bard levels, there was College of Whisper or College of Spirits or whatever. it is.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Yeah,
I like
that's what I was
that.
kind of working with that.
I like
So
that.
then, like, they all get scrapped, but, you know, cheap parts before he's, like, completely scrapped for parts. Someone working for Hexton, one of the city officials, is like, let's repurpose this.
Yeah.
Let's make this into something that we can use for the city. And went from there, went into detective work, private investigating. But, yeah, the, like, bard kind of stuff, or, like, multi-class that I put in there, that was very much to be, like the spirits of like those children that he would like perform for, or like kind of
Okay!
what it's-
I feel like we could have gone into that maybe a little bit.
This is one of the things I hate
Yeah.
about miniseries that I do.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's like,
There's
there's...
like-
more there that you don't
yeah,
get to
exactly. And it
That would
just
have been
wasn't
terrifying.
like I tried, like I was like
Holy
trying
shit.
to bring up some of that. So
Yeah.
like when he was using like his, I can't remember what the feature was called, but it was like when I was like you and the madam.
Yeah.
Giving you kind of like that like sneaking or like extra ability.
Yeah.
That was that one bard
Yeah.
ability, and it was like, oh, like Bugsy pulls out this like sheet of paper and seems to like, kind of like focus on that for a second, and that was gonna be like the drawing of one of the kids at that birthday party. Like
That sounds. Wow, I love it.
like this mini series, you know, is that you just don't have time. It's so
Yeah.
much harder to get
Yeah.
everything in.
For sure.
So
For sure.
yeah, and I think honestly, if I had like the idea more like concrete right when we started, it probably would have been easier to work that in too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Well, it can't be easy. You're coming into a new table with new people, and like, yes, you played with us once
Yeah.
before, but it's like, okay, here we go, new DM. Like,
yeah. So there's kind of like figuring out like, let's not just fully do Freddy Fazbear right now. Let's maybe rein that in a little bit.
Thank you, because I would not have been able to keep it. Obviously, I would have had problems at the table if tonight was any indication.
That would have been a little bit much. That's what we say
Yeah.
for those like silly one shots.
Just started running out,
Yeah.
all the mics blasted out with me yelling, "The point of AD7!"
Hey, I would have worked it in.
Yeah,
Anyway, that was so stupid.
it is pretty stupid.
Yeah.
How about you, Joe? Anything you didn't really get to?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things on the mind. There's one thing that me and Lauren had planned, but I'll let him maybe speak to that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the funny thing is I don't even know exactly where it was going, but we were going to try to open up a little bit of Jean-Michel's backstory, and I was about to get to it, but Amy interrupted to say something about she had a conspircy theory
Right,
with the king and queen or something, and
And there was like
the moment was
11:30.
gone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, you feel it like just flips away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the moment was there, but we never.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then it was gone.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where that would have led. I don't know whether you want to reveal that or not.
Do I?
But maybe that's, because if we do play these characters again, who knows?
Yeah.
It might have come up again someday.
Who knows if somebody else DMs? Maybe there's like a Jean Michel, and
Yeah.
I'll play young.
Yeah. Who knows?
Mm.
Yeah, that I'll say it was gonna be like an interesting thing of what constitutes a soul,
Ooh.
and as someone from Bragg, what that might entail, and like, because like you would all have noticed maybe that Jean Michel called your character XT only,
Yeah.
right, and not Herman.
Right.
And there's some reasons to that. I won't share them all now because that's just
That's cool. No, yeah.
But yeah, so there's something there. I wanted to have more interactions with like your character and Birdie as well,
Yeah.
because I felt like there are some interesting dynamics where it's like depending on how my interactions with Birdie go, like I could be very easily, swayed into just killing off. People.
For sure.
There was a couple moments that I thought, I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
So yeah, it was
fun.
either that or it was like Jeb pissed me off enough
for
that I
sure.
took him out back and
Going to the farm.
Hey, what's that?
I'm saying that like not even joking.
Yeah.
Like she was close a few times.
Yeah.
Where's a possibility?
Yeah. But yeah, it was super fun to play into that whole like casual racism thing. It was race. It's not quite race. Casual social status. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's kind
Stigmatism,
of like
a little bit, or yeah.
Bigotry of some kind.
Classism.
Bigotry.
Well,
Casual
yeah.
bigotry.
Casual
Yeah.
bigotry.
Like, but I
We
wanted
don't
that.
generalize.
Yeah,
I find that like
indiscriminate bigotry.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's how that works.
you did it so well though. Like it was just so
good.
It
like
was. Yeah. It just it
you
wasn't
rode that razor's
Yeah.
edge where you're just like, I can get away with this because this is what's programmed into me. So I don't know no better.
Yeah. Herman doesn't have any politeness programming.
Yeah. There's no social filter here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to get to or?
Yes.
Oh.
Ooh.
So, I had this ties into the whole what happened at the end of the
Yeah.
story too, because like I had developed this bit of a backstory for Herman, was that he was a happiness company robot, but his initial function was as like essentially like a groundskeeper kind of bot, took care of just like simple tasks like, you know, plucking the weeds and killing the rodents and stuff. And that's why he wasn't strong. He was just designed to, you know, serve a very specific function, and that was kind of it. He was like a little all-terrain because he had to get around.
Yeah,
but
I remember you mentioning some of this
yeah,
stuff to me.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But his like wartime functions were all added on afterwards.
Aftermarket.
Yeah, exactly. When it's almost like, you know, maybe the happiness company contracted out to brag for more machinery or something like that, and so they repurposed a bunch of bots, and that was how Herman ended up where he did.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I had worked out with Amy that she was supposed to like take this programming that Herman gave to her and then go and find Herman afterwards. But I think because of the stuff that you threw in at the end, she felt guilty about taking Herman away from Jean-Michel, because Herman was Jean-Michel's guardian. And so this is my own theory. Amy's not here to confirm this. But as a result, Amy didn't do the thing I was expecting. So I have a whole alternate ending written up.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Where Birdie goes to the scrapyard and finds the, like, you know, metallic carcass of Herman, puts in the caretaker programming, and then Herman wakes up.
Yeah.
And so anyway, alternate ending for
Hey, they got to pay for this part.
Patreon.
This is extra content. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Donate to our Patreon now to see the next 2 minutes of content. So anyway, so Birdie plugs it in, and ding, the like Windows 95 startup sound plays, and and Herman kind of like lights up again, and he says, "Greetings, humanoid, and congratulations on your purchase of the XT Hermanate R, a groundskeeper class pest and weed suppression construct, manufactured by the Happiness Company, solving the problems you didn't know you had. If you have not yet completed payment, do not worry. The Happiness Company's patented payment or death drones have been dispatched to your shipping address at Grandma Gertrude's Nature Emporium, 8216B Gamma Avenue. Payment or death drones will arrive in 2 minutes and 14 seconds. In some less savory walks of life, it is customary to name your unit. What name would you like to give your XT Hermanate R construct?" And here I would allow, assuming like Jeb was along.
Name him Jeb.
Exactly. And then he would say, "Affirmative. Your construct's new name is Name him Jeb." "Thank you. Let us proceed to your place of work. This construct is ready to serve, and may the forest be with you."
Aww.
Oh.
And then, because then you'd be like, "Wait,
Wait a minute.
Me too.
You watched Atlas, didn't you?
I don't know what's that."
Oh, no?
No.
The Jennifer Lopez movie about a mech. Watch it. It's not horrible.
Okay.
It's not great. But
That
it's
was
not horrible.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
I think you guys still could have done it. Yeah. See, I wanted to play on that like caretaker, like when you said like you were a caretaker of the grounds. I wanted to spin it in and have a connection between you two more, and that's why I was like, oh no, you worked, you were from Jean-Michel's dad, like you worked their property.
Sure. Yeah.
You were the caretaker, but you also took care of Jean-Michel when she was little, and as they grew, and you just kind of ended up being always with them.
Right.
So
it was an interesting spin, and it wasn't one I was prepared for. And I think that I would have maybe, with some more thought into it, maybe have been ready to continue that storyline from where Amy may have done it.
Yeah.
But I was not.
Yeah.
And my brain was like foggy. I couldn't figure it out.
Same.
So it's just like, okay, I remember young.
I liked yours though. I liked yours a lot, where it was just like you walk in, let's go. Yeah. And I wanted to give you that moment with like, you know, your dad was never, he went missing, but nobody knew what happened.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give you that, like, let's give it a bit of a happy ending for somebody who's been through such a shit life.
Right.
That,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a great bow on the end of the miniseries. So yeah.
Wahoo.
Totally worked out.
Absolutely.
Well, I had a lot of fun doing it for you guys. Like it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad.
I always do.
I'm glad you had fun.
I always do.
You certainly made it fun for us. So.
Yeah.
I always do.
It should be
Thank
fun for
you.
you too.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it is, and it like I love having like the interaction, like the old lady on the fire escape, and like
Yeah.
you know
Me
just
too.
the descriptions of like when you walked into these rooms and just seeing what it was like, or the whole the two soldiers. Well, one's gonna turn and fuck this shit. I'm siding with the creepy fucking
That was
no-name military guy.
cool encounter. Very cool encounter.
Yeah, like where it was, and then the other one's like, no. Like I've been through hell and back with this person. You know, it's the Foxhole Brotherhood.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah, that
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, like it's, you know, you could go after the Queen themselves, and I'll still back you. Yeah. You know, my loyalty is to
Which
you.
we bad
Might do.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm imagining like this is a really niche reference, but it's like a Comic a Kill, which is an anime in which there's a really corrupt like king or queen or whatever, and they're like this powerful magic user. So a bunch of like assassins that are also magic users get together and have to like kill all the corrupt people one by one.
Oh,
It's pretty cool.
I like that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that's what like, you know, like,
No one survives.
No, those are the best stories, man.
Yeah.
We can come up with brand new characters each time. Why?
Yeah.
Because the last guy died.
The black girl with a not black girl, black-haired white girl with a katana does live though. Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
There you go.
Silly me. Anyway. Well,
I think that brings a wrap to this one.
Yeah.
Thank you guys all for, you know, jumping down this crazy rabbit hole.
anytime.
Thanks for making it.
Someone's
gotta dig the hole.
The next one's already in the works, so
Sweet.
Yeah.
Any excuse to play more D&D?
Oh, yeah.
I'm only bringing on DMs as players now. So
yes,
Oh.
that's initiation to the group.
That's initiation. Gotta run a one shot.
you get time though. You get time to acclimate.
Nice to see you.
Him and I have only ever played together
One time.
Once.
So if you offer that,
and that was the one he
Yeah.
did.
so that's kind of like a neat thing. It's like your first time running a game, our first time playing a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it
It's
was.
cool. I know we've said that before. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
Well, no, I was
Yeah.
thinking though, is like I'd love to run a game at some point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Once I'm kind of like, you know,
Oh no, yeah.
Once you're comfortable.
into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Talk to me in December. Let me know. Or
Next
January,
Tuesday, you're up.
whatever. Yeah.
That's it. Here we
Then
go.
Table on the chair.
Here we go.
That seat is mine. Next Tuesday.
Reclaiming my throne.
All right.
I'm looking forward to being bad with the Sins.
So
too.
am
Me too.
I. Well,
Alright.
I think that's it for tonight then, isn't it?
Awesome. Well, Ben, thanks for sticking with us. If you listen to all of this shit, and hi, hey, hello. Until next time.
Hello.